Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all, let me ask you something. How would you feel if your partner knew that you wanted a family? Like you wanted to start a family bad. Like this just always been your dream to have a family. And they good with it until the night of your honeymoon. And that's when they decide to tell you that they don't want a family right now. They want to wait like 3 years. How would you feel about that? Okay, I want to know how you would feel. But let's get into this story. And first up, we're going to meet Monica, okay? So Monica says, okay, so for about a week now, when Monica would roll over in the middle of the night, reaching for her husband, he wasn't there. And it happened again this night. So she was trying to decide if she should go talk to him or just leave him alone. But she felt like all of this tension between them, it had to stop. So she put on her robe and went downstairs looking for him. It was about 4:30 in the morning. She didn't bother turning on the lights because the lights from the skyscraper outside of their penthouse window illuminated the kitchen. And that's where she saw her husband. He was sitting in front of the floor to ceiling window with his back to her. She knew he could hear her coming down the stairs, but he didn't budge. He didn't turn to look at her or nothing. So she walked up behind him and asked him, why did he keep doing that? Like, why did he keep getting up in the middle of the night like that? At first, he didn't respond, and she called his name. So he told her to go back to bed. She tried to ask him again, why did he come downstairs every night? And he was like, Monica, please, just go to bed and leave me alone. She wanted to try one more time, but she decided against it and started to head back upstairs. But she stopped and told him to, like, don't stay down here too long. You're going to be tired in the morning. But he still didn't respond. So she just went to bed. She said it took her a minute to get to sleep. And when her alarm clock went off, she felt like she had only been asleep for like 5 minutes. But it was 7:30 and it was time to get on up. But she noticed that her husband, he didn't come to bed at all. She got up, did her morning routine, and had planned on making her and her husband some breakfast. But as she was making her way downstairs, she heard the front door close. So she ran to try to catch him, but the elevator doors were closing. And she couldn't believe that her husband didn't come to bed. He didn't say good morning. He didn't say that he was about to leave. He didn't say anything. And that made her lose her appetite. So she decided to go on to work. And being that she was so stressed, she was going to enjoy that walk to work that morning. And plus, she only worked 10 minutes away at an Italian men's clothing store where she was the manager. So it wasn't really a big deal. She liked her job because it gave her some independence and she didn't have to run to her husband every time she needed money. It wasn't like she was hurting for money because her husband was a millionaire, but she loved her job and the sense of peace that it brought to her. And as she was walking through the store, like disarming the alarms and preparing the store to open, she started to reminisce about the time her friend told her that she should try selling high-end retail. And as beautiful as she was, she might catch her a rich man. But Monica had given up on men because all of them seemed to be weird. But one day, her and her best friend saw this handsome, tall, brown-skinned man with broad shoulders and wavy hair enter the store. Tabitha, Monica's best friend, was like, girl, do you see what I see? And Monica was like, yeah, I see him, but I'm trying not to be so obvious. So Tabitha asked her, so what you gonna do? And she was like, what do you mean? What am I gonna do? I'm doing absolutely nothing. Tabitha tried to get Monica to go over there and give the gentleman some help, being that she was single and all. But Monica ended up pushing Tabitha in the direction of the man, but soon regretted it when she saw how flirtatious and giggly Tabitha was. But after a couple of minutes, Tabitha came back and told Monica that the man said he wanted her to help him. And she was like, really? So she walked over there and asked him, how may I help you? And he was looking at her a little confused and said, well, I don't know, but your coworker said that you know what I need. As soon as the man turned his head, she sent Tabitha an evil look, but Tabitha was too busy laughing at the setup. So Monica ended up helping the man for about 2 hours. But when he left with 2 suits and Monica's number. He asked if he could, if it was okay if he called her the next day. She told him yes, and that was the beginning of Nate and Monica. They saw each other every day. They spent a lot of quality time together, and about 2 weeks in, they were having meetings in the bedroom. So about a month in, Monica told Tabitha that Nate said that he wanted to own his own company one day. At that time, he was trading stocks for a firm downtown, but his dream was to start his own company. But he was just waiting for the right woman to marry so that they can pursue his dream together. Monica told Tabitha that she really didn't know how to take it, but Tabitha did. She was like, girl, he's trying to marry you. He's 36. He's probably ready to have kids and settle down. But Monica thought it was too soon since they had only been seeing each other for about a month. But she really did love him. She knew that he loved her and wanted a family. And Tabitha was looking at her like she was crazy. And she asked her, so you're telling me if he were to propose to you, you're going to turn down this successful, handsome man who just might become even more successful? Someone who is way better than them other knuckleheads you've been dealing with. A man with his head on straight, knows that he wants to be married, have a family, and have it with you. And you gonna turn that down? Monica was like, it does sound crazy, huh? Tabitha, she said, yeah, real crazy. Well, 6 months later, Nate did propose. Monica accepted. 6 months after that, they got married. Nate loved every fiber of Monica's being, and he couldn't wait to start a family. But that conversation caused their first disagreement. Even though Monica knew from the very first date how much Nate wanted a family, she didn't tell him until the night of their wedding that she had no intentions on having children anytime soon. She was like, I'm only 27. I want to enjoy us. I want us to have time together as husband and wife before we bring kids into the picture. Nate was very disappointed, but he loved her so much that he agreed to give it some time. I mean, she was only 27. So they enjoyed the first 3 years of their marriage, child-free, and traveled the world. They enjoyed each other's company. And since Nate was such a passionate man, they had plenty of meetings in the bedroom. And it all seemed like a dream now as Monica was walking through the store, getting it set up to open, and just standing there and thinking about that's where she met her husband 4 years ago and how everything was so perfect until she gave Nate exactly what he'd been begging for all of this time. She got pregnant. So, how would y'all feel if your partner knew you wanted a family and then decided on the night of your wedding that they want to wait 3 years? And since she finally did give him what he asked for, she got pregnant. What changed? And since we have met Monica, let's meet Nate and hear it from his perspective. So, Nate had just finished painting the room black that he had just painted blue 2 weeks ago. It was the middle of the night and he couldn't sleep, the same way it had been for the past week or so. He had so much on his mind, so many thoughts running through his head. He'd get up, go downstairs, and just sit in the dark trying to make sense of everything. And he'd sit there until those dark skies showed rays of sunlight. Once he heard the alarm clock go off and his wife get in the shower, he slipped on his clothes and left out the house. He went down to the home improvement store and bought all the supplies he needed to paint the room. And he painted every inch of the room black because it was his way of mourning a child that he thought he and his wife would have. After he finished painting the room, he sat on the floor just looking around. He felt like his wife would be angry when she saw what he had done, but at the same time, he felt like she wouldn't have a right to feel any kind of way. If anybody should have been angry, it was him. Then Nate started to reminisce on the time that he met Monica 4 years ago while shopping for a suit. He loved everything about her and proposed after only 6 months. He didn't feel there was a reason to wait. He was 36. He loved that woman and he was ready to settle down, start a family, and concentrate on his businesses. So they got married. That was the easy part. But getting her pregnant, not so much. Because all of a sudden, Monica wanted to wait 3 years before trying to start a family. On the night of their honeymoon, Nate walked into the bathroom and saw her about to take a birth CP, talking about she wanted him all to herself. And he was like, "You're going to have me for the rest of my life. Don't take that." But Monica threw it in her mouth and followed it with a whole glass of water. So they went ahead, had their meeting in the bedroom, and she fell asleep. But Nate couldn't sleep. He kept replaying in his mind that she wanted to build a strong marriage foundation and be able to travel the world and have romantic dinners and go shopping without having to look for a babysitter or pack up a baby. But all of that seemed odd to Nate because Monica had never expressed those feelings to him until their honeymoon. He remembered her saying, "You wouldn't have agreed with me if I had told you back then." And he responded, "I don't know," because she didn't even give him the chance. But deep down, he felt that he wouldn't have agreed with her on waiting 3 years, especially given how strongly he felt about starting a family. If he would have known, he probably would have agreed to a premarital deal and put a clause in there that stated that they tried for a baby as soon as they got married or they ended their relationship. He looked over at Monica, who was sleeping peacefully, and he couldn't understand how. When he was sitting there feeling betrayed, he just didn't understand how she could keep something that important to herself and not realize how damaging that could be to their marriage. So Nate settled down in the bed, trying to force himself to stop thinking about what his wife told him earlier. But he had made up in his mind that they were going to have kids. He was just going to bring it up constantly until she gave in. But every month afterward, when he bring it up, she'd say, "Not yet." Nate had got to the point where he thought about replacing her birth CPs with some sugar pills. He had a close friend who was a doctor, so but he thought against it because he didn't want to trick his wife into having kids the way she had tricked him into waiting. So he said he'd just keep asking until she agreed. And it actually happened that way. Even though it was 3 years later, like Monica said, he was shocked because he thought that she was going to try to push it back even further. So he was happy. They tried for 8 months to get pregnant, but nothing happened. Nate started to worry that something was wrong with him and he was going to make a doctor's appointment. But that same week, Monica said that she was pregnant. He was ecstatic. He took Monica shopping for everything and started getting any and everything a baby would need. And Monica was too tickled. She was like, "You don't even know what we're having." But Nate said, "We'll buy things for a boy and a girl. What we don't need, we'll donate to a charity." Nate sat up every night reading baby books, thinking of names. He had even found an exclusive nursery school their child would attend. He had already set up a college fund, and a month and a half in, he decided to clear out the extra bedroom and turn it into a nursery. Everything was going so good, but right at the 2-month mark, Nate found out that the baby they were going to have was no more. Tell me what y'all think. Tell me, how would you respond? Like, how would you feel in this type of situation? And also tell me if you want me to continue on with the story. Tell me how you liking it so far. And if you like it, this might be our next review. Okay? Get down in the comments. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll talk to y'all later.